In my lifetime, I have never seen a more divisive halftime show than Kendrick's in the last Super Bowl. Now let me just come out and say it, I very much enjoyed the show and I understood the message he was trying to present. I know this is a more unusual post considering my last 3 videos I've made, but I like to make videos on every sport, especially sports topics like these. So I'm going to use the opportunity to educate people about the message and the reaction it caused. My name is RTYR, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. I would be greatly appreciative. I'm trying to reach 10k subscribers by my 21st birthday in May. I would love all the help I can get. Now, let's talk about K-Dot.
I hate you like I'm young. You better not ever go to sell.
There were several messages that Kendrick was trying to get across during the performance, but I'll start with the one that has been the most popular. That is Samuel Jackson's performance as Uncle Sam, or some have considered to be Uncle Tom. A lot of people have their own interpretations of Samuel Jackson's character, but it mostly comes down to mocking what the people that won't understand the message are going to label the halftime show, especially with the line,
"Too loud, too reckless, too ghetto."
Those assumptions of what some people would call Kendrick's halftime show have been proven true, too.
Time show was awful.
I didn't like halftime.
The worst halftime ever.
What a nightmare. I kept sitting there saying, you know, maybe I just don't get this guy. This guy, Kendrick Lamar, and he won all these Grammys.
It was so bad, Jimmy Carter came back to life just to turn off the TV.
Bro, I couldn't understand a word that was being said.
It was hard to make out what was actually being said.
So bad, Trump was hoping someone would shoot him in the ear again.
Kendrick Lamar's 12 minutes of rap was basically a musical grudge match. For me, it wasn't mass appeal. The music itself is not broad enough or well known enough to reach generations.
You serious?
Now that Trump's president, we have someone like Willie Nelson at halftime.
Let's put Carrie Underwood and Reba and Morgan Wallen. Let them have a go at it. A full-on Trump rally for the halftime show. Morgan Wallen or Zach Bryan plays us 2 or 3 songs. Trump comes out with an executive desk, signs 5 executive orders, and Shane Gillis takes us out with a 5-minute set. Best halftime show ever.
The other popular segment from his performance was the line,
The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
most people, myself included, have assumed that the wrong guy meant Donald Trump, who was in attendance for the Super Bowl. This is just a test to see who my audience is, but I do think we picked the wrong guy. This line was also in reference to the Gil Scott-Heron's 1971 poem, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. It's a poem that argues that change does not come from corporations, but from the individuals. I also agree with this message. We as people cannot rely on corporations like news media or letting sub businesses like Ben & Jerry's on TikTok to try and lead us into the idea that they have for a revolution. No groups or anything. If a protest/revolution were to happen, it needs to be led by the people and for the people. Another popular section of the show was the American flag that was formed by the shirts of Kendrick's backup dancers. There were multiple subliminal messages with the flag, some that I've come to my own interpretations on. The first statement I got from the flag was when Kendrick stood in the middle of it. I think he was trying to allude to the revolution he emphasized, which I just talked about. Some have theorized that when the dancers bent forward and lifted their backs, it symbolized how America was built on the backs of Black Americans, which that is something Kendrick would definitely have people trying to interpret. I definitely agree with that, both the symbolism and that America was built off of slavery. Major parts of American culture were created by Black Americans, and a lot of the names that have helped to popularize it have been left to waste or to be replaced by a name that people see more fit. Then, when the image of the flag divided, it seemed to depict political divisions around the nation, which is alluded to by Kendrick's line, "It's a cultural divide."
It's a cultural divide. I'm gonna get it on the flow.
The last major segment that included messages that I will discuss about is the line,
40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
If you don't already know, because I know some people on TikTok and other social media platforms have already discussed this part, 40 acres and a mule refers to an order given out by an old Union general to give reparations to formerly enslaved families. An order that these families would receive 40 acres of land, but that order has never been upheld, and very few formerly enslaved people receive these reparations. Kendrick has very much been known to stand on that side of the reparations argument. Now, I am not educated enough to give my opinion on reparations for Black Americans, so I will leave that up to you viewers. If you are able to provide an insight with source links, I would greatly appreciate that in the comments. But now, let's go into people's thoughts about the halftime show.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument.
Like many things in this country, the halftime show has just divided more people from each other, only because they are not receiving it the right way. It starts with people who actually believe the music that Kendrick Lamar makes is quote-unquote ghetto, even though it's nowhere close. And when they spread their opinions and uninformed racism online, it tends to spark even angrier reactions from people on the other side of the aisle. The kind of people that say that this was the worst halftime show ever. There have definitely been worse. The first Super Bowl halftime show was 2 college marching bands and flag girls. And then there's some other people whining about how it wasn't appropriate. It wasn't like there was a nip slip, you're just upset that your child is listening to rap for the first time. Kendrick is very well known for lining his lyrics with subliminal messaging. This shouldn't be surprising, but obviously some people don't know Kendrick's music as well as others. On the flip side of the coin, the people that are responding to these right-wing people, they are not responding the right way. I do truly believe that there are some individuals out there that can have their opinions changed if you educate them the right way. When you try to educate somebody who only watches the Fox News angle of every news story, you can't try to forcibly argue with them or it will feel like an attack on their ego. And that's not to say that's a bad thing. I'll use my dad as an example. To put it simply, he's at the age that his ideas of the world are not going to change, and that's okay. What I'm trying to say is, there are ways to educate the people who have not been able to develop critical thinking skills, but you have to go about it without directly attacking their ego or intelligence. We as people need to stop attacking each other with rocks and insults, and instead approach each other with handshakes and each other's point of view.
Finally!
I know this has been a super off-topic video. I honestly hate that this whole debacle has overshadowed the actual Super Bowl game, because it was actually a very entertaining game coming from someone who really hates the Chiefs. I did want to use my small platform to try to persuade both people to try to educate one another the right way. My sports content will resume after this, of course. March Madness is coming soon, and I'll be very ready to cover that. Same thing with spring training and even NASCAR if people ask for it. So if you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe down below. And share this video with someone that might want the perspective that I have provided. And as always, thank you for watching.